I feel like throughout the week there's always stuff I want to say, and then when the mics go on, I just don't remember it.
Yeah. I was thinking of like a cold open. Like what happened that was interesting that I can use for a cold open?
Yeah, I thought there was something that happened in our lives.
What did I do?
Shared experience.
Saw Ant-Man. Oh, popcorn. I don't think I can eat popcorn anymore.
Getting too much in your teeth? Getting too much stuck?
No, it just fucks me up.
Your stomach?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Popcorn
like
has
really
that effect.
Bad.
Yeah.
Remember when I was sick a few weeks back?
I do.
The last thing I ate before that was popcorn. And that was the only thing I ate that day. And then this time I ate popcorn. It wasn't as bad, but like I felt it.
Yeah, it turns your stomach into a little popcorn machine. Bubbly, gurgly, disgusting. It's not a good, not a good thing.
Great.
It's good in the moment. It's a lot of things like that.
Is it though?
I do like a nice fresh, I missed your musk every time.
But if you don't get the fresh popcorn and it's just whatever.
Well, that popcorn at Skinamarink was somehow appropriate for Skinamarink. If you're going to watch that movie, you almost want stale popcorn. I don't know why. Just fits the vibe. But that was very disappointing, actually.
I've
never had popcorn that stale.
Yeah, it's just...
You know what I like? I like the popcorn with literally no butter. Because even when you get no butter at these places at Regal AMC, it's still got butter on it. But when you go to like an independent theater and they're like, do you want us to add butter? You know, that pure, healthy snack popcorn. Because popcorn's good for you.
It's a good snack.
Yeah, no, but it's healthy too when you don't, smother it in butter.
I mean, I don't know if it's healthy, but it's...
I think it is. It was on an episode of iCarly.
I do remember that, and Sam added all the butter to it.
Yeah, Sam threw in the butter, and Carly was like, what are you doing?
It's like a healthy snack compared to, like, chips and, like...
But there may be some nutritional value that maybe you're underrating. It is corn.
Corn's like the least nutritious vegetable.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. I am Bo Oliver, joined here today with Aaron the Nerd Soup Monkey, and we're back for this episode of the Nerd Soup Podcast, where we talk about some of the biggest stories in Hollywood, and
I almost just let out an Ice Cube yay for some reason.
Yeah. Sometimes, I totally get where you're coming from. You just have urges to steal catchphrases from other people. It just feels appropriate. That would have been appropriate there.
But I haven't heard a Ice Cube yeah. I don't like. It's not like I watched an Ice Cube movie or heard a song where he did that in recently.
You know what's burned in my memory for Ice Cube? The 22 Jump Street trailer when he says Jump Street jumping in that ass, and Jonah Hill's like right in the crack.
Those are funny movies, man.
This is so good, dude. They don't get old. Channing Tatum, I just saw Magic Mike today. King of the himbos, man. Still going strong. I feel like people are something, every time somebody blows up, there's always going to be the fall off. And now it's, Channing Tatum's old. He's not hot anymore. It's like, if he's not hot, who the hell is hot?
I don't know.
People are ridiculous.
I ask myself that question every day.
Yeah, right.
I don't know who's hot anymore.
It's tough. These days it's so hard to be hot or to know who's hot. Fucking echo chambers. But yeah, biggest stories in Hollywood. That's what we talk about here. Movies, TV, sometimes video games. So there's been fun stories across all the mediums lately. And as you see from the title, or as you read on the title, we will be talking exclusively. Well, not exclusively. We will be talking spoiler... We're going to be reviewing Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
Yay.
There you go. Perfect little ad-lib there. We need some more ad-libs on the podcast. Since Stu hasn't been coming around, we've lost that. Solid. Well, you do it sometimes. I
was actually thinking about Stu the other day when he said Ben Diesel.
Yeah, it's so funny, dude.
It's a great moment.
Yeah, I think he actually, that take hasn't aged well because the tides have shifted in the favor of the Diesel, where The Rock has now become someone that people are a little tired of the self-promotion and the shitty movies.
Vin Diesel would never.
Well, with Diesel, it's always so much more, it's funny, when he does it. With The Rock, he's so desperate for you to like him. The Diesel doesn't give a shit.
He assumes you already like him.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's just pure natural coolness,
Remember when he made that song a couple years back? It was a good song, too.
Oh, the Diesel in the studio. Yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Well, follow us on social media. Listen to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And at Nerd Soup, at Bo Soup, at Nerd Soup Monkey. We actually selected one of our giveaway winners.
Did we?
Yeah, that's still happening. So go ahead and follow us on social medias. That's always fun. All right, well, let's just get right into Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Ant-Man 3, wrapping up the second trilogy to take place in the MCU. The first one was... Oh, no, this is the third trilogy.
Captain
America, Thor, and now Ant-Man.
Thor's 4. 4 Thors.
Right, there's 4 Thors. The third conclusion...
3 Iron Mans. This is a lot of trilogies.
This is the 4th or 5th trilogy that the MCU has done now. Holy shit, look at that.
Guardians 3 is coming soon.
Guardians 3, yeah, coming in May. But... This one...
Spider-Man has a trilogy.
Spider-Man does have a trilogy. Look at that. Yeah, this is the 6th trilogy. Well, technically, Black Widow, if you factor in the roles that she's had in other movies, it's basically...
And the Avengers is,
right. She's on her 5th movie with the solo movie. Starting from the beginning, Ant-Man 3, another trilogy, has been completed in cinema. I often wonder, what was the first trilogy? I think it was the Apu trilogy, which actually concluded very nicely.
The Godfather trilogy.
Yeah.
That's an early one.
Well... There you go. That's not a great conclusion. So this is like the Godfather trilogy of the MCU, where the first 2 were so great and critically acclaimed, beloved by all. And
yeah, many people are comparing Ant-Man to Godfather.
Yeah, Paul Rudd, the modern-day Marlon Brando. I will give Paul Rudd credit for this. He does have that sort of old-school star charisma that you rarely see these days. He's very good in interviews. It just sort of radiates off of him. And I think that's what's so disappointing about this movie, to now get into the movie. And like we mentioned, it will be a spoiler discussion. So if you haven't seen it, click away. It was, listen.
Don't skip ahead. Don't click away.
Click away, skip ahead. At this point, I don't care.
No, it's definitely skip ahead.
Ant-Man, the first 2 movies are a bit divisive. A lot of people, when it first came out, they were like, why would you focus on this right now? In the midst of all your success, but I enjoyed them for what they were. I even enjoy the second one a lot more than most people. That one seems to be the one that people really dislike out of the first 2. But listen, he's not the most important character in the MCU, but I felt like this wasn't an Ant-Man movie, and this is a criticism that a lot of people have been levying at the MCU for their specific solo films. Why is so much happening in this movie? Why not just focus on telling a good Ant-Man story? Because this is the tale of 2 movies. It's Ant-Man picking back up where we left off, and it's basically Kang's origin story. So when it was focusing on Kang, I was sort of enjoying it. But then you have to go back to Ant-Man, who nothing is happening with that character, and he does occupy a lot of the space in this movie. It is his fucking movie.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are we doing here?
Well, it's Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man...
You could count on your hand how many lines the Wasp has.
There's no character, development with Ant-Man. And you could say, oh, no, he listened to his daughter. Okay, whatever. That's such a nothing. Ant-Man, he's been through this, for 2 movies already. We know that he loves his daughter, and we know he's about his family, and, that idea that, he's taking a back seat and he's not a hero anymore. Doesn't want to help. That's never fully realized. The Wasp, I don't know. She's just there. So the title should have been Ant-Man and the Wasp and Kang and Janet, Quantumania, because they spend just as much time on those 2 characters as the other 2, which I don't mind, but in a 2-hour movie, what are we doing here? I did enjoy Kang. I think he's interesting, and but in this movie, he just kind of, I don't know. I feel like you can't really fully realize that. And especially to take this version of Kang through a full... He dies at the end. Spoiler. We already said spoilers. Or maybe dies at the end or whatever. But he has an ending to the story. So this wasn't a brief introduction to a character we're going to keep seeing again and again, teased throughout, kind of like a Thanos. He was just the villain in this movie that they needed to give an extended backstory to, because he's a version of Kang. We'll call him All Kang, is going to be the main antagonist for this phase, or the next 2 phases, however they plan it out. And then the backstory with Janet, I thought was interesting, sure, but like I said, in the window of 2 hours, it's just never fully developed or realized. The thing she did, this pissed me off so much. When they get into the quantum realm and she meets that monster man, and they do that little fight thing, and they're like, oh,
I fucking
so hate when they do that.
Can't stand it.
It's such a lame, uninspired, unoriginal way to establish they definitely have a backstory here.
She's got a history here.
Yeah, she
used to handle things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a lot of that in this movie. Just the whole revolution. They get to the planet, and you've got the freedom fighters, and you brought this problem here. I'm going to help you. All right, we're buddies now, and we're going to fight Kang with an army of communist ants. That's actually why I did give it 2 stars.
Mm-hmm.
because it's something that you're only going to see in a comic book movie. And I'm being super genuine here. That's the magic of comic book films. That Hank Pym could lead an army of communist ants against a man named Kang the Conqueror. That, to me, is so funny. And even the addition of MODOK, that's been super controversial, I liked it because it was something from the comics, and he's supposed to be ridiculous and goofy. He's a fucking floating head.
I mean, the only part I laughed, which is another criticism I have, these movies are very much presented as comedies, and I laughed once, and it was when MODOK said, like, he's happy he's dying an Avenger. I thought that was so fucking funny.
I was going to bring that up, too. Because it's like, why is this man thinking about that, you know?
Yeah.
He really thought he went off in that moment.
And, like, I can get into Darren Cross, like, how stupid that is, that, like, he had this
I
little...
liked the performance, too. I thought he was funny with his delivery.
He had this little redemption arc, and he's a completely different character.
Yeah.
Physically and
You were
mentally.
always my brother.
But that did give me a chuckle. Yeah, like...
I also laughed when Scott told Hank that he admires him for saving money on the pizza. That made me laugh. When he looked at him, he's like, I admire you so much.
My problem is, like, it wasn't funny.
No, for the most part,
they stuck to bits that just didn't work, and there's no charm. Like, I didn't like the first two Ant-Man movies. I don't think they're bad by any means, but like I just didn't really enjoy them. At least they had charm to them. There was no charm in this movie, and the Quantum Realm looked like fucking garbage.
Oh, right. That's the big elephant in the room. Not even the elephant in the room. It's like, pretty obvious. But.
I think when people take like a little screenshot from Spider-Man and it's like, oh, Marvel's at it again, like I'll defend that and be like, all right, now you're just picking and choosing certain things. Like, overall, I thought Spider-Man looked pretty good. But when it's like this and such a big part of a movie and so apparent in every single scene, not just a little still, that's when, like, you can be, yeah, this movie sucks. What the hell is Disney spending their money on?
Yeah, coming out of the trailer, everyone made the comparison to Spy Kids, and somehow Spy Kids looks better than this. It is visually appalling, and it's definitely the worst example of the MCU's laziness. Something that Feige is addressing. He's saying that the movies, well, the shows specifically, are going to be more spaced out to give them a chance to really work on these VFX in post-production. And that's why when we reviewed Avatar, it wasn't that this technology doesn't exist, it's just that people won't invest in the time to bring it to life. So for the MCU to be so popular, you've got the world in the palm of your hands. You have such a dedicated fan base that you can't take a few more months or spend a few more dollars. And not even spending more money, but what you're spending money actually on.
I mean,
to make your movies visually appealing.
Yeah. Guardians looks great from the trailers. Like, I think the Guardians movies always pop, and I think Volume 3, it looks like it's going to pop as well. But for this movie, and I hate to be like what I was anticipating, because I feel like you got to kind of remove that at certain times or for certain movies when this is supposed to be the jumping off point for your next phase with Kang. Like, I don't think that's a stretch to be like, make sure this movie's better, make sure it looks as good as possible. Like, if this is going to be the jumping off point, wouldn't that be like a huge, like, wouldn't you want to put like your best foot forward to kind of kick everything off here?
Right. That's why the defense that it's setting up the future doesn't really work, because it's not a good setup. As you mentioned, if you want to establish Kang as the next big bad, make the decision like they made in Infinity War to make it a Kang movie. That's what they did with their biggest movie to date. All the gang is coming, the Guardians, the Avengers, Thanos, he's finally going to be in it. So who are going to be the most two important characters? Thanos and Gamora. What the fuck? You would think it would be Iron Man or Captain America. They lead the Avengers. No, we'll make the bold decision to give the villain most of the screen time. And Kang definitely doesn't have more screen time than Paul Rudd in this movie, but sometimes it feels like he does. So if you're going to make it a Kang movie, make it a fucking Kang movie. And it's the same thing with Janet. I don't mind that. Like, if you're going to sell it as Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania and then it turns out to just be a Janet Kang movie, I'm going to be fine with that. I think some people maybe, they'll feel like they were misled. But what I think really hurts this movie, getting into spoiler territory here, is that
she technically
Janet
is the Wasp.
Right, no, she technically is, and her husband is Ant-Man. I don't call him Martin Scorsese, see if he's busy, get that de-aging technology, right? There was a scene that they cut out where it was a flashback of them committing war crimes for the U.S. government, and Michelle Pfeiffer was looking good in this. She was looking good at that de-aging technology, man, but I guess she doesn't need it. you have to kill off Janet Van Dyne at the end of this movie if you're going to give her that much attention. Seriously, it's supposed to be about her past secrets catching up to her, right? She's keeping all these secrets about what she was doing in the quantum realm, who she was fucking, who she was working with, and then she has to reap what she sows. She has to give her life. She has to make that hero sacrifice to make everything better. And I thought that the way that they were going to defeat Kang was through sacrifice, that they were going to establish this guy as too fucking powerful. This is overwhelming us. Like the line from the trailer, I don't have to beat you, I just have to make sure we both lose. I thought, okay, this could get interesting. There's some personal stakes here. And you know, what are they keeping Hank and Janet around for? You know what? They're going to be in the next Ant-Man movie, and they're going to be supporting characters with their one-liners. And
yeah, I feel like this movie had to be like 2.5 hours at least, or just be a different movie.
Yeah, just be a different movie. Yeah. No, and a lot of that charm, it's the reason why I still like Iron Man 2 to this day, because I just like watching Robert Downey Jr. as that character. It's the same thing with Paul Rudd. I like watching him act as Ant-Man.
Yeah.
I like, his whimsical nature, the carefree nature of the character. But like you said, nothing is realized thematically when it comes to Ant-Man's arc in this film. And I think in the first two movies, the second movie, he doesn't have much of an arc either, if I remember correctly. But the first one, he sort of does.
Yeah.
And I think most people think that's been the best one out of the three. But yeah, it ends up being, and I hate being this harsh, I love the MCU. I'm not going to be one of these guys that now they're getting more backlash, I'm going to turn my back and act like I never liked the MCU, because it's evident based on our channel, if you've been watching us. I've clearly loved some of these movies. But this was a waste of time, unfortunately. Especially when it's the jumping point for Phase 5. You really want to explore the multiverse here. Get us ready for what's to come. The best way to do that is by crafting a good story. Like you said, it could have either been a Kang story, setting up the future, or just give me an Ant-Man story, dude. I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. You have decades of source material. Just pick one. You don't have a team that could say, this Ant-Man comic's pretty good.
Yeah, and I hate to be like what they should have done, but if it was just more isolated on Ant-Man and Cassie and fully realizing some of the things they were trying to establish, that could have been interesting too. Delve into, him being gone and being afraid that, they might lose each other again. They kind of touch upon that, but it's never even a surface level. Might be too deep. Because, and she's also like the worst type of activist.
Yeah, that was funny how they tried to sprinkle that in.
Yeah, she's like, let my little Avenger father get me out of jail because I'm not going to face any real trouble anyway because my dad's an Avenger.
She knows she could play fast and loose and get bailed out.
Like the owner of a company, it's like, okay, yeah. Let's but like even like her,
she goes on a hunger strike, but she still eats ice cream.
Yeah. Like her like morals presented, like obviously like, yeah, like cool, like fight for you believe in, all that, yada yada yada, big fan of that, but it's just so surface level to the point where it's like, why even make it a thing? And I guess it ties into her wanting to support the people who are being ruled by Kang and all the destruction that happens, but I don't think you need to establish your character in that way for someone to see that situation and be like, hey, maybe we should help here. But they just tied it so much into the character, and it just really didn't work for me in that regard.
Yeah, and you mentioned that the first two movies had more charm. I think a lot of it came from the relationship between Scott Lang and Cassie. The young actress who played Cassie in the first two movies had so much chemistry with Paul Rudd, and their relationship was a delight. It's not present here in this movie. And Catherine Hunter, she's been in other stuff, so I know they made the change from the actress who appears as Cassie in Endgame.
I mean, she was good as the character, but I just didn't like what they did with the character.
No, yeah, it's really just poor writing and poor development, especially for those two, which is unfortunate because, as I mentioned, they were universally beloved in the first two movies, even if you didn't love those stories and the way they were told. Yeah, for Kang, once again, it's like when studios announce, oh, there's going to be an extended edition of this movie that you watched and liked. And it's like, oh, so you've been sitting on a better movie and now you're going to make me pay for it instead of just releasing it in theaters. It's Kang is giving us all this backstory about things that I would have rather have been watching than this. And that's why I said a tale of two movies, because there's a lot of stuff there that interests me in regards to Kang, but none of it is enough. And also, he got his ass kicked in this movie. That to me was disappointing. To be like a real neckbeard nerd, if you want to establish this threat, then, he's walking around like, oh, which Avenger are you? I've killed all. People have been joking that he killed Fat Thor or that he killed the other Hemsworth brother when he's playing Thor in the play.
Yeah.
That's the Thor that he killed, because I know that if this motherfucker killed Prime Thor, then somebody's lying.
It's just such a stupid joke, too.
Oh, same physique. Yeah, Star-Lord already made it. But like, for once, let a villain win. Other than that would have been so fun. And like I said,
and he's supposed to be he's the main Kang, right?
I guess.
I'm so confused by multiverses. So like, but I think he was presented as the one that like the other Kangs. They're like, fuck, we gotta control this guy.
No, yeah, they're all on the same page with this guy. They have to throw him to jail, solitary, basically.
And I know he is human. So like. But yeah,
right. But he's supposed to have technology from the year 3000.
I mean, he was flicking.
But once again, they made it it's like the same thing they did with Ebony Maw, character in the comics and it's hard to translate that, especially in a movie this big that doesn't have any powers. He's got the power of persuasion. He can talk you into anything. That's so scary and disturbing. But in Infinity War, he just is a psychic. So, but once again, with Kang, you can't think of anything cool or imaginative that may be difficult for our heroes to overcome. Like if Ant-Man is like, oh, I can become super, super small. Kang's like, oh, I've got that tech too. And Ant-Man's like, fuck, you can do exactly what I do. Or just something. I'm not a fucking writer, but Jesus Christ.
Well, that fist fight at the end, I'm like, if Ant-Man like beats him one-on-one right now, I'm gonna... the movie's over, but... In my head, I walked out.
That was fun for them to show off Jonathan Majors' Creed muscles, because we talked about it. The guy really is absolutely yoked. He's huge. But even the way that was shot, and Peyton Reed, I don't know how to feel about Peyton Reed, because I don't think, out of any of the Ant-Man movies he's directed, I'm struggling to remember a memorable action moment that wasn't influenced by Edgar Wright, because I feel like some of the influence is still there in the first Ant-Man movie. But in the second one, nothing's coming to mind. And in this third one, there wasn't one memorable action moment for me. Maybe when the Wasp kicks into action during the bar scene with Bill Murray, but that's really it.
Yeah.
And the ants, that was just funny, conceptually.
Well, too, I thought, like, the way he was, like, telling Cassie, like, get big and punch, tap and punch. It's like, isn't Ant-Man supposed to like, retain his strength when he's in the little form? That's what makes it so dangerous.
Right. I wonder if, yeah, I don't know.
No, it's just...
More neckbeard stuff, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you just need the propulsion. I don't know. Fucking rules of the MCU, man.
No, I'm out on multiverse stuff. Like, I'm not out on multiverse. I'm out at, like, trying to...
Make sense of
it, yeah.
Well, the final scene with all the Kangs was cool. Once again, showing me something that I wish was the focus of the entire movie. But I still don't know what's going on there. And I know some of those Kangs that we saw do go back to the comics. And I'm sure a lot of them in the crowd, you can find some sort of reference. But I thought the second end credit scene was a bit better because I enjoyed Loki so much.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what Loki and Owen Wilson's character are going to end up doing.
Well, who is Loki's Kang?
Right. Well, Loki's Kang, isn't he dead? They did kill him.
But there's a Kang at the end that has the TVA statue.
Right, yeah. So it looks like that could just be anybody's Kang. Loki's lost throughout the multiverse at this point, right? Because Owen Wilson doesn't know who he is at the end. He tells him, like, hey, I'll get to you in a second, stranger.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Well, I've been reading rumors that the Kang that they see in that second scene is a good guy. And this does go back to the comics. It's a Kang that helps out the Avengers defeat the other Kangs. Cool. Yeah. But once again, he's such an intimidating presence. And he is super, super serious to the point of maybe making it a little silly at times. But I just think the movie wasn't up to what he was bringing to the role. It was like he was in a different movie at times. Because they've heard the criticisms of introducing these villains and making them quippy and making them silly. So now all the villains have to be super, super serious. But I don't think the tone and the stakes of the film matched his performance. I'm still very much excited. And I love the alterations of Kang, that in Loki he was a bit more funny and self-deprecating and wacky. Now he's this authoritarian figure, and obviously we've seen the other Kangs as well. Now nerdy Kang in the 19th century. So good performance, but nothing where I'm saying he's the best villain that we've ever had, or he enters that upper echelon of Thanos and Killmonger.
You think Pharaoh Kang is like Moses Pharaoh?
Maybe, yeah.
That'd be cool.
Or Akhenaten. the Egyptian pharaoh who introduced monotheism to the Egyptian empire.
Or the one from Moses.
Yeah, or the one from Moses, yeah. Well, that's Ant-Man Quantumania. Everyone's like, are you guys surprised that a movie named Quantumania wasn't good?
No, well, Quantumania, that's like WrestleMania. They usually put on a show.
Right, well, to go back to the visuals of the film, there are so many creative people out there, dude. And you're Disney. You're Marvel, man. It's inexcusable. It truly is.
Well, it's like, also, like, with some of the side characters. Like the Sludge Man.
Oh, God.
Like, what is that?
The holes.
What is that?
Completely wasted, my boy, Cheetah. Everyone thought he was going to be Mr. Fantastic. He's just reading
yeah, that's right. I mean, he was kind of cool, but like, I don't know. Like the Warrior, like she was fine, but like, I don't know who these people are. I don't know what their fight is.
Oh, yeah, dude. And it all felt like an old episode of Star Trek where they travel to a planet and they accomplish the mission and then they go back home. But at least in Star Trek, they used to look like they wanted to be there. Everyone looked so exhausted in this movie. Like they were exhausted by the jokes and the quips and even what they were supposed to be doing story-wise. Yeah, all that stuff was just white noise while watching it. MODOK does kind of look like Joe Rogan.
MODOK. Yeah. I mean, I always thought Dr. Zola was MODOK. Because when we see him in Winter Soldier, he's a computer face. Like, oh, that's like a cool little way to, like a less campy way to interpret that character back when like they were still trying to ground things. Now it's just like, let's just show this fucking big head, little ass Hank Hill fucking guy.
Yeah, I guess people who weren't familiar with MODOK found it to be a bit jarring, but I liked it. You know, I appreciated when they gave the planet in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 a big old face. What was his name again?
Ego
the planet. Yeah. I like that type of shit. And I think sometimes comic book movies are a bit too obsessed with realism and that they need to, we need to translate this so that people aren't thrown off by it. But I guess maybe MODOK is proof that...
I mean, there was a talking dumpling in Thor Ragnarok, Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah, it was cute too. Had cute little eyes. I would have eaten that fucking dumpling though. I wouldn't have thought twice.
But like, yeah, they've been doing some weird stuff. Like there's a sludge monster. Or a goo. I don't know what they called it.
It took me forever to realize that, yeah, we do have 7 holes. All right, anything more you want to say before I move us on?
Yeah, again, like, reiterating the same points. Like, I don't think I learned anything about Ant-Man or the Wasp, and the movie's Ant-Man and the Wasp.
It's so funny, because after the last one, she's like, I don't think the Wasp could ever do a movie without Ant-Man because they're so important to each other. And in this movie, now she's coming out of it saying, yeah, I'd love a Wasp spinoff.
And the whole fucking scene when he's really small and he's trying to get the power source or whatever it is, and there's all the Ant-Men and all the Wasps, and the only way he can get it is to realize that like he's doing it for his daughter, and the only way the Wasp can help is like through a love for Ant-Man. Like, we know this already. This isn't a breakthrough moment for either of these characters. These are things well established. So why is this your big hero moment of this movie? We know what Ant-Man loves his daughter. He loved her for the past 2 movies and the other Avengers movies. We know the Wasp relationship already, so that's the big breakthrough?
Yeah, this movie was written by lazy motherfuckers, man. And I hope it is a wake-up call, some of the criticisms that they're getting and some of the pushback. And it is funny to see Marvel fans sort of turn into DC fans. The difference here is that I guess back then, DC didn't have the same mainstream love. So with Marvel fans acting that way,
dude,
it is a little silly.
Do you know how much money Ant-Man's making right now?
I know, that's the other point. You don't have to be that defensive that people aren't enjoying this movie because it's still a huge success. And a lot of my friends who are into the MCU really liked it. I've talked to 3 people, all 3 liked it. And they didn't love it. They had some criticisms, but I think for the most part, MCU fans are satisfied with it, and that's fine. Just don't yell at me about it. Bo Oliver, I wish you were fucking dead.
And I hope Kang is alive, because then it would be even more of a waste. You spend half the movie establishing a character, albeit there are variants, but as we've seen, variants come in all different shapes and sizes, different personalities, different backstories. So it's not going to be one of my problems with Avengers Endgame. Not the same Thanos. Also, how can like Mr. Fantastic be John Krasinski and they'll find a different one, but like every Kang is the same?
You guys are all so wrong about that Thanos take in Endgame. It's a popular take, but it's so wrong. So wrong.
I need the connection.
That's 2014 Braun, baby. That's what I wanted to see. Yeah, we saw old man Thanos. We saw bubble Thanos. But I want to see when he could jump. Headband. That's what he was rocking the helmet in Endgame.
Yeah, but he was, like in Infinity War, he was just some washed up nobody.
No, he was going
cooking.
off. But he also, what I appreciate what they did with Endgame is that
literally, my man was cooking by the end.
Infinity War was a Thanos movie, and he won. And that was the end of his story. He had no more story to tell. So I like the idea of a more arrogant, hungrier Thanos realizing, I was right, I do win, but it's not enough. That old Thanos, yeah, now I'm starting to sway you, right? That old Thanos, he didn't go far enough, man. I'm going to strip this world down to the atoms. And he's so cocky when the Avengers are walking up to him. Like, I know what my past self did to y'all boys. Y'all coming back for round 2? Come on, man. About to watch Endgame tonight.
Oh, man.
All right, well, that is our Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania review. Of course, comment down below and let us know what you thought. And be respectful, or don't. Sometimes those disrespectful comments can be very funny. All right, we're actually going to take a quick break before we move on to U.S. weekend box office. We got to pay those bills. And Aaron, why don't you tell us about today's sponsor?
All right, yeah, well, today's video is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Bo, I know on a couple occasions you've searched for something online that you wouldn't want others to know about.
Oh, yeah, definitely, dude. My nickname used to be Bo Incognito.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people will be like, well, why don't you just use incognito mode? But incognito mode does not hide your activity.
What?
Doesn't matter how many times you clear your browsing history, your internet service provider can still see every single website you visited. That's why when I'm at home browsing the web, I never go online without using ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is an app that reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers, so your internet service provider can't see the sites you visit. It doesn't matter who your internet service provider is, they are legally allowed to sell your information to ad companies. But when using ExpressVPN, your activity remains hidden. Plus, your information remains secure by encrypting 100% of your data with the most powerful encryption available. ExpressVPN runs seamlessly in the background. Most of the time, I don't even realize I have it on. All you have to do is tap one button and you're protected. ExpressVPN is available on all your devices, phones, computers, even your smart TV. So there's no excuse for you not to be protected. So if you really want to go incognito and protect your privacy, secure yourself with the #1 rated VPN. Visit expressvpn.com/nerdsoup and get 3 extra months for free. That's expressvpn.com/nerdsoup. Go to expressvpn.com/nerdsoup to learn more.
Damn, I'm about to get on my Jack Sparrow shit tonight. Arr, looking for good movies, matey. Well, before we move on to U.S. weekend box office, I want to give a quick message to all of the content creators out there listening to our podcast. I want to introduce you to Storyblocks, one of the largest libraries of royalty-free footage, templates, music, and photo assets on the internet. They even have an easy-to-use video editor and unlimited downloads that allow you to easily test out different effects, clips, or tracks to bring your creative vision to life. New content is added regularly to Storyblocks, prioritizing in-demand keywords, so you always have what you need to stay current with trends and news. Unlike other stock companies, Storyblocks offers subscription plans for a set price. No credit systems that drain your budget or those pesky hidden fees. Storyblocks makes payments simple so you could stop worrying about your budget and take back creative control. Choose from thousands of pre-made professional templates for your favorite editing programs, including After Effects, Premiere Pro, or Apple Motion, to take your videos to the next level and speed up your creative workflow. For Adobe users, Storyblocks is now introducing Storyblocks plugin for Premiere Pro. The Storyblocks plugin helps you streamline your creative process by bringing their library directly into your editor. You can easily discover and download new content without switching between platforms, giving you more time for important things, like creating. So head on over to storyblocks.com/nerdsoup and pick out a plan that is right for you. You may be interested in an individual plan, or for larger creative teams, you can sign up for their business subscriptions, which provides all the benefits of Storyblocks subscriptions, plus additional benefits like shared folders, administrative controls, download to cloud functionality, and more. So, as we mentioned, head on over to storyblocks.com/nerdsoup to unlock your creative vision and potential. All right, let's move on to U.S. weekend box office. Number one here was no surprise, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Domestically, it made $105 million over the weekend. Worldwide opening weekend was $240 million, so we'll see where that lands on, but not a bad start. Number two was Avatar: The Way of Water, came in with $6.4 million, upping its total worldwide gross to $2.2 billion. I actually think it's higher than that. That number may be a little dated. I don't think I updated that. But that thing is still going. So Magic Mike's Last Dance came in at number 3 with $5.4 million. Worldwide, that's at $38.5 million against a $45 million budget. So those movies have always done really well financially. The first one was a massive hit, dude. 160 worldwide off of a $7 million budget. But those box office results never seem to go up for movies these days, but we'll see where that lands. Number 4 was Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. That came in with $5.3 million, and worldwide it's about at $370 million.
I see you, Puss.
And number 5 was Knock at the Cabin with another $3.9 million. Worldwide it's at $48 million against a $20 million budget. So it's looking like it's going to be a success, another success for Shyamalan. That guy just fucking prints money. But yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, as I said, no surprise there. Many people expected it to open big. But I do think this is a case of if the reviews were better, it would have opened to a bigger number. I mean, that's kind of easy to say, but
going back to anticipation, like, there's a reason why this movie, like, is on par with, like, the Batman. Like, in no world should the Ant-Man...
Wait.
What?
What point are you trying to make here?
Like, it's made opening weekend is similar to the Batman.
Oh, okay, right.
Like, in no world should that even be a thing.
Yeah, that just because it's an MCU movie, right?
But, like, also...
Isn't that funny now
the
that
introduction
Ant-Man...
of Kang and all this, and what was, like, there's some anticipation. Quantum Realm, what's that? We've never been down here. What crazy shit's going to happen down there?
Yeah, that's another point I want to make about that movie. Well, I guess I made enough points about the lack of creativity, but... my goodness. Yeah, no, there was a lot of anticipation going into this. And I think the same thing with Thor: Love and Thunder, dude. Thor: Love and Thunder opened huge. And people were really excited because Christian Bale playing a villain, Natalie Portman as Thor, that's different, that's new. What are they going to do with it? And it's nothing that really surprises you.
Yeah.
So, MCU needs to get back on their surprise party shit.
And Avatar's still going strong. I mean, to be number 2, like, what, almost 2 months after? Tough road for Magic Mike. Never had a chance.
Yeah, no, it's funny because the first Magic Mike, it was the first time 2 R-rated movies opened to over 30 million at the domestic box office. Can you guess what the other R-rated movie was?
Deadpool.
No. Deadpool eventually came and broke that movie's record because initially that was the highest grossing R-rated movie ever, which was Seth MacFarlane's Ted.
Ah.
Yeah. So Ted and Magic Mike opened the same weekend. The first Magic Mike opened to 40 million domestically, dude. Insane. And that was a cultural phenomenon.
So Deadpool came out Valentine's Day one year.
Right.
And so did Magic Mike. I feel like that's a Valentine's movie. Well, it came out Valentine's this year, right?
Yes, it did. I don't know if it did initially. Deadpool was 2016, right? Magic Mike 2 was 2015, so they didn't coincide then. But yeah, Deadpool eventually did break Ted's record. Largest R-rated opening. I think it was close to 100 million. Ted did like 70 million first weekend. That first Ted movie made fucking buckets at the box office, dude.
Yeah, I like the Ted movies.
That was a fun little mashup there, right? 2 cultural phenomena for 2 very specific audiences.
Why was it his last dance? I didn't see the movie.
He's retired.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
Did he die? No, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
They tease me. Have you seen the Magic Mikes?
No.
Okay. It's funny because McConaughey's in the first one, and the second one opens with McConaughey's death.
Oh.
And then they're like, just kidding, we lied about that to get Channing Tatum out of retirement. So, yeah. He wasn't in this one either, McConaughey. I thought maybe they'd bring him back. One last all right. Salma Hayek. Woo!
Yeah.
Great performance. Great performance.
Let her treat me like a piece of pizza, though.
Yeah, that would be fun. Whatever she wants to make.
Yeah, throw some flour on me, spread me nice and thin, toss me in the air, spin it around a little.
Yeah, she definitely can spin it. Like a fucking basketball.
Sauce me up, sprinkle some cheese. What toppings you want? Anything you want. Toss me in the oven, make me nice and crispy.
And then all of a sudden she leaves you in the oven, you're burnt because she went for the bow garlic knots. Sorry I had to put that image in everybody's head. This podcast has been criminally horny lately. What was the last? Oh, the podcast we had with Nash. I forget what we were talking about.
He always brings the horny.
Oh yeah, 100%. We were talking about Jennifer Coolidge and that she was my sexual awakening.
I just wanted Selma Hayek to make me into a pizza. Got a little pizza tracker app. Let you know when I'm ready.
Yeah, so we'll see what Magic Mike ends up making when it's all said and done. But that is the U.S. weekend box office. Big opening for Ant-Man. Avatar still going strong. Magic Mike not as strong as the previous two. Knock at the Cabin doing well. Puss in Boots, hopefully it gets a sequel. Maybe we'll get Donkey in that. All right, let's move on to the BAFTAs. We had a big winner over the weekend at the BAFTAs, which are essentially the British equivalent of the Academy Awards. All Quiet on the Western Front won 7 awards, including Best Picture. And it's really building momentum towards the Oscars because now a lot of people are thinking, for better or worse, that All Quiet on the Western Front has replaced Everything Everywhere All at Once as the favorite, which Everything Everywhere All at Once only won 1 BAFTA last night, or not last night, over the weekend, and that was for editing. And I think most people would agree that it's probably the best edited movie of the last 10 years, let alone this year. So I don't know, that would definitely upset me. I enjoyed All Quiet on the Western Front. I didn't love it. I don't think it should be nominated, but that's not my decision. A lot of people really liked it, and I can understand why people are pushing it, especially for cinematography. But for Best Picture, it's a name that voters are familiar with, critically acclaimed. They love giving these awards to war movies. So it is a little disheartening that the movie is built on creativity. There's so many different things that you can pull from it and say, this is just so imaginative. A lot of things that people will say, oh, I've never seen that before in a movie. And it feels like that movie's being pushed out for an old favorite. So,
the thing is, what I hate about Oscar award season is like people constantly, it's like, so I think if you talk to most people, they'd be like, yeah, I like All Quiet on the Western Front, but now it's gaining momentum, so it's like, ooh, now I gotta hate on this movie a little bit.
Yeah, no, there's definitely an element of that.
And like, it's annoying because I think like I said, it's like in my top, what was it? It was definitely in my top 20. Everywhere All at Once was one of my top 3 movies. So, like, obviously, I have a hierarchy in terms of what I think is the better movie. But, like, at the end of the day, even though I want to see that movie win, am I going to be surprised or, start shitting on All Quiet on the Western Front now? Even though I'd liked it, just because I think it might not be deserving. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. And I understand the sentiment of it's the easy choice to vote for. Why would you do that this year when you have a movie like Everything Everywhere?
Well, there's a few easy choices, I think. Elvis is an easy choice, even though I don't really like Elvis too much. But, like, they love musical biopics. And a performance that's probably going to win Best Actor.
Yeah. At this point, yeah, I think so. But I'm a little nervous. And listen, Cate Blanchett's my favorite actress of all time.
Not easy choices, but like more mainstream choices, I feel like. Even though All Quiet on the Western Front, insanely popular.
Yeah. It looks like Michelle Yeoh maybe is being pushed out as well as the favorite for Best Actress because Cate Blanchett won it last night. The other winner, as you mentioned, was Austin Butler for Best Actor. That would be, once again, I would feel so conflicted because I love Cate Blanchett, and I do think she is the best.
The thing is...
And that may be her best work in Tar.
Comparing those two movies, like, she was great in Everything Everywhere All at Once, but, like, the type of movies they are, Cate Blanchett is fucking Tar. Like, that's her movie.
Yeah.
And she is just like, every line is just perfection. Like, she's just really good in that movie.
Yeah, it's a long-ass movie, and she's in pretty much every scene.
Right.
So.
I'm not saying we should diminish Michelle Yeoh's performance because there is more style, and the movie has so much more going for it than just individual acting performances, because, like, sometimes you act what you have to act, and she fucking nails it and throughout the whole movie. But for me personally, like, I like Tar, but I don't think I would have liked it as nearly as much if it wasn't Cate Blanchett just absolutely wrecking every line she had.
Yeah, that is a good point. And that's why it's so tough when comparing acting performances, because you have to do what's appropriate for the movie.
Right,
so
exactly.
To compare them, it's like when people want to say, oh, James Cameron versus Tarantino, who's a better director? 2 completely different styles, making 2 completely different types of movies. It's ridiculous to even compare them. But I guess it's not the worst. It's better than somebody...
It's like Shaq to Chris Paul. Like.
Yeah, right. If it's going to be anyone, if it was somebody who I felt wasn't deserving, that they're getting this award because it was the type of movie that they always like, but it is Cate Blanchett, where a lot of people are calling this her masterpiece. And it is actually a movie that the more I think about it, I'm like, man, Tar was good. There's a lot going on there, man. We will see. The BAFTAs are usually, I don't know, I think they are usually the biggest indicator of how things are going to go. Obviously, it's never perfectly aligned, but we will see.
I'm excited for these Oscars. It's like I feel like there's more potential for it to be like an actual show and more eyes on it, especially like recognizing movies like Avatar and Top Gun. It's just, I don't know, it seems like a year that there's a number of movies that people have actually seen and would be interested in.
Yeah, I like how they do the best film and then they do the most outstanding British film, and it was The Banshees of Inisherin, which is such an Irish movie. It's so funny when the Brits do that. They'd be like, anybody who's a part of any of those countries is British.
Yo, for like millennia too. I'm watching Vinland Saga right now. Great show, by the way. And it's the fucking English.
You're all English now. That is talk about a great show, right?
Oh, it's so good, man.
The history there. What episode are you on?
I finished the first season.
Oh, shit. Look at that. Oh, my God, man. Oscalad, best character ever, maybe?
Yeah, he's like, I was like, yeah, he's, it's so weird with anime. Like, what I've noticed from watching it, it's like the supporting characters are like just so much better at times.
Yeah, I know.
Because like Thorfinn I actually like, and you know, as we see him develop, but it takes a while, and there's just some moments where I'm just like, stop fucking whining. He reminded me of like season 1, season 2 Eren.
Yeah.
Where I just couldn't, I'm like, get off my screen. Let me hang out with fucking, you know, Levi. He's much cooler than you. I'm interested in him. Or, you know, Hanji, like so much better than you, Eren. Get off my screen. And it's the same thing. It's like, I do like Thorfinn, but like Askeladd is so much cooler. Thorkill is fucking so much more fun to watch on screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is really good. Very entertaining.
That last episode of season 1 is just a fucking mess. Well, maybe the last 2. Because when all the politicking is going down.
It's such good build-up and like the relationship dynamics. Like there's so many things that like you kind of want to see paid off and that they do. Because like you got a hint, like it's not what it is on the surface, especially of how they regard each other. But having it all come together in that way is like was pretty good.
Fucking love that show. I'm excited to get into season 2. I haven't started it yet.
I don't know what it's on. It's not on Amazon. I watched season 1 on Amazon.
Maybe it's on Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna have to Google that, figure out where it is. All right, well, let's move on to fan questions.
That's for the fan to decide.
Yay! People, you call up to the show, you better be ready. That's what you're supposed to do. Sitting there arguing and trying to spell your name and all of this other stuff. It's not your show, it's my show. I'm giving you the opportunity to speak your mind. Don't call up here unless you got something to say.
All right, this question here from J_Bayer14, or Bayer14. What's some good shows that you've been watching?
Oh, Vinland Saga.
Look at that. Actually, it says, what good anime shows have you been watching lately?
Vinland Saga.
Yeah.
That's all I've been watching. My Hero and Vinland Saga. Yeah, it sucks that I think there's only like 8 episodes in season 2 so far, so once I catch up, I think I'm back to like on the weekly for both of those, so might need to find something else to plug in there for during the week. I mean, just shows, just Last of Us really that I've been keeping up with.
Yeah, dude, I've been doing such a bad job of watching shows that I haven't seen. Haven't finished Spy Family, haven't finished My Hero, haven't finished Chainsaw Man, which is only a few episodes. I think it's only 12 for the first season. That should be your next one, man. Talk about a fucking wild ride of a show.
I still have to watch Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer, yeah. The movie's coming out in a few months. I love that they actually tie into the canon of the story. That's so fun.
I'm like slowly catching up on Atlanta.
Oh, nice.
I think I'm on the season that they're not in.
Okay, well it's half and half.
Okay.
Yeah. Season 3, beginning. Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I guess that would be season 3. Because season 3 and 4 both came out this year. That's actually, I think that may be my favorite season. Because
season 3?
Yeah, I guess the anthology episodes are so funny, dude. Some of them are so good.
The one I'm watching is sad as shit.
Which one is it?
I'm on with the first one, but
with the little kid who gets sent to the foster family? Bro, that's so funny when they serve him the chicken.
Yeah. It's funny.
I felt so fucking bad for that kid.
Yeah, I feel bad.
No, the mom was the funniest in that episode, dude. When she thought that he was the one who called child services.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you want to go? Fine, get the fuck out of here. I'll pack your bags.
I felt terrible.
Yeah, no, I felt really bad for that kid.
Yeah, what movies are? Oh, we got the mystery movie this Monday, right?
Yeah, yes we do. That should be fun.
I like that.
You know what? I'm considering going into the city and watching the short films if you want to go.
What short films?
They're putting all the Oscar-nominated shorts at the IFC Center.
Oh, that'd be cool. Those are the ones I never even we never talk about. So
Right,
I'll watch
yeah.
them.
If we had seen them, then we can... It may just be for animated shorts, but...
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I may do that, but I may not. Going into the city is always a...
Yeah, it's
gotta psych myself up for it.
Even though it's, not far at all.
No, it's very convenient.
On a Saturday, I would just sit around and do nothing. I could sit around and do nothing on a fucking train, too.
Exactly, right. Nice audiobook.
Oh, the Ashton Kutcher, Reese Witherspoon movie on Netflix. That sucked.
That's new, right?
Yeah, wasn't good.
I kind of want to watch that. I've been into watching bad movies lately.
The Jennifer Lopez, the shotgun wedding, that wasn't that good.
Who's the other? It's Josh Duhamel, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I really want to watch Marry Me, the one with Owen Wilson. That's been on my watch list for a long time.
That was on one of my flights that I didn't watch it though.
I'm a big Owen Wilson guy.
Oh, what comes out Cocaine Bear comes out this weekend.
Yeah, that's the one coming out. Elizabeth Banks is a funny chick. Just seems like a good time.
She's funny in Curb.
Yeah, that sequence is so good, dude. No, she's perfect for that because she doesn't take herself so seriously. This question here from Ethan. What did you think of Bullet Train? Did you ever see Bullet Train? We saw that together, right? Yeah. I can't remember these days. I never know who I went with. You know what? I gave it 2.5 stars.
I thought it was fun.
But I think the overwhelming praise that it gets from people is making me hate it more. I don't like how much people like this movie.
I like everybody in it. I think they all do a good job, with their characters and everything. And I think they're interesting characters. And I think there's fun action sequences. I don't think it's
It's definitely up its own ass with how clever it thinks it actually is.
It feels like there should be just a high octane nonstop, just thrill ride with some cool action sequences and humor. And that's what it tries to be, but it's not always that.
Yeah, no, it's very hit or miss. And the Tarantino copycats, at this point, it's been 30 years from the 90s, man. Get a new shtick. Tarantino's not even doing that shit anymore. Or find somebody else to rip off. Rip off the Safdies. This question here from Cody_stereo. Jensen Ackles as Batman for the DCU. Thoughts? Yo, for what they're doing with an older Batman mentoring Damian Wayne, why not? He's got the fucking voice. He's proven it in the cartoons.
Is he an old Batman?
Well, the actor, what is he? He's 45.
Okay.
He just looks incredible for his age. He's a handsome son of a gun.
Yeah, I mean...
I think
I don't love the idea of an older Batman to begin with.
No, yeah, it's annoying.
Why can't we just get Dark Knight Batman? Not quite origin, not quite past his prime, but
just Batman.
Prime Batman.
Yeah, he's just Batman. He's in his prime. Yeah, I mean, I'm not so as much as I love Batman, I'm just so thrown off by what's happening at DC. So even with James Gunn there clearing some things up, but it's so hard to get invested in so many different versions of the same character. Even though that's what comics is, with movies, it's just a shame that they can't give us a consistent Batman.
Ben Affleck, he was in 2 trailers for Ant-Man.
You mean Batman? You mean The Flash?
No, when I went to go see Ant-Man, he was in The Flash, then he was in the Jordan.
Oh, okay.
I hate that trailer. It's one of my least favorite trailers of all time.
Such a movie. God.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
I hate I hate when they do true stories that everyone knows about. It's oh, Nike, that's never going to be anything. Well, it's funny because Nike, look at it now. Or
a rookie who's never played a game? That's what a rookie is.
Yeah. Well, what's his name? Michael Jordan.
Mike Jordan. That's what they used to call him in college. Just sounds so wrong. Yeah, I want the Jordan movie about why he got suspended.
Yeah. Well, it's just the most trailer of all time. The most trailer of all time. Oh yeah, what are we gonna call it? Air Jordans. I don't like it. Maybe it'll grow on me. It's funny because Air Jordan is such a big brand now.
This question here from Giselle.
There's 10 of those instances in that. They did every single one.
Giselle wants to know, why does Bo subtly hate The Last of Us? That's pretty funny. The spoiler discussion, I'm hoping to elaborate on some of my thoughts, and hopefully they come off as more clear based on the criticisms that I had for episode 6. But I stated the top of the episode, the end of the episode, I thought it was a good episode.
No, I think at this point, like, you're still positive on it, which is, like, by, like, episode 2 of Moon Knight, you're like, this fucking sucks.
Oh, yeah. I think with The Last of Us as a whole, there are some things I'm frustrated with, but it's a good show.
Yeah, I think for a lot of, like, shows that we don't like, it's like, we don't really, it's hard to fully commit to hating a show until, like, episode 4 or 5. Because you're like, well, let's see how some of these things set up. And like, oh, sure, this is set up. They're probably going to, use that as a starting point to further develop this. And then you realize, like, they're just not doing any of that. I hate this show.
Yeah, that's not this whatsoever.
Yeah, by this, it's already, like, it's very much established. And I think when it comes to most shows that we get, it's definitely in a higher tier over the past couple of years.
Yeah, and after the first 3 episodes, I thought it was gearing up to be one of the best shows of all time. I still think it can reach that sort of status, but...
Yeah, I don't think it's like Chernobyl, True Detective Season 1 level at this point. I don't think it's like Game of Thrones level or Breaking Bad level right now, but we'll see. It's first season, and I think it's definitely up there.
Yeah, this question here from Ben. Do you think The Last of Us pace is too fast at this point? I think it's tough to judge that just yet. We have to see how it ends. If that finale is an hour and a half and episode 8 is an hour plus... because they've shown the willingness to make those long episodes, like with episode 3. I think I'll be disappointed if episode 3 ends up being the longest episode, that we couldn't use that time for a finale. But I do think the finale, especially because next week, people haven't seen the preview, but...
I don't think, it's not quite episode of the week, but it kind of like blends that line. Do you know what I'm saying? Like each episode, there's its own struggle, and they kind of... But it's all along the same journey.
Right. Yeah, and that way it does feel like a video game.
Mm-hmm. So I don't think that's...
New maps, new missions.
Yeah, so I don't think that's like really a criticism, but it just seems like, I guess from a pacing perspective, the way it kind of flows from one to another, you kind of feel like we're starting something new here, even though everything is pretty much continuing.
Right, and I think what sort of hurts the pacing is that, and this is something I've complained about, there haven't been those smaller personal moments of horror where you encounter a zombie or encounter a raider, and it's not a huge moment, but it scars the characters, and it sticks with you, and it sticks with them. I think there hasn't been enough of that, because at times it does feel like they are just moving from one location to the next, whatever's next on the map.
And I feel like you could, like with Kansas City, even though, like, funny enough, like, that first episode wasn't my favorite, but it's a 2-episode little block there, therefore, which I think is actually works well pacing wise. Like maybe if Tommy's Place took another couple episodes to get into, because 9 episodes, not short by any means, but I think especially playing the game, I think there's definitely room for like a 10-11 episode season.
Right, yeah. With shows these days, it seems like shorter is the better. And it's funny because it's almost as if they're reacting to what audiences want, but I think some stories do justify those extra episodes. But I was thinking about this today, man. I'll just never be able to get over it that D&D had HBO ready to write blank checks just indefinitely. What do you want? We will give it to you. And they were like, nah, let's do the Robert E. Lee show.
You know, and you could skip this question if you don't want to know about next week's episode. It's not a spoiler because it's just showing, I'm talking about things they show in the preview. And some people don't want to watch the preview. So if you don't want to know about the preview for next episode, and skip ahead 20 seconds quick. But now it's funny looking at it, 9-episode season, 1 episode is based on Bill and Ted. Bill and Frank, and then next week's episode is going to be like an Ellie flashback bottle episode. So in terms of actual story, that's almost 2 episodes that you're taking out.
Right, that's why it is interesting that they're only going 9 episodes. All right, we'll take a few more questions here. This one here from Connor Joseph. Bo, you smoke an indica or sativa before sitting down to watch a movie? I normally only smoke at night, so it is indica. So if I'm going to sit down to watch a movie and smoke while watching it, I want to go to bed after. And I'm usually good at staying up during movies. I did break that rule this Sunday. I went right into it at 9 a.m. Just threw on a movie, and it was a fun day. And then by the end of it, by the time we get to The Last of Us, I'm like exhausted. So maybe if I wasn't so good on the review, that explains it. But yeah, sativa, man, sativa gets you going. So maybe, early in the day I should have been smoking sativa. But that's great for going on a hike. going on a bike ride. So sativas, I don't know what the fuck they're putting in that. Okay, this question here from BR Hine. You always get asked about video game to movie adaptations. What about the movie to video games? Interesting question. We see Hogwarts Legacy. Most people seem to really be enjoying it. Those who are playing it. That seems like, probably the best answer if it wasn't already made.
Yeah.
There's so much potential there. But I think for a lot of the big fantasy movies, I've always wanted a Game of Thrones game where you can have your own house. That sort of thing.
They had
open world.
like a point and click version. That was fine.
I actually don't hate that. I wouldn't mind that for like an open world. You're the long lost Stark that comes back home and has to join Robb. That would be fun, right? They integrated a new character into the main story, and then it never ends.
That's what they did with the point and click.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do the same thing, but make me, I can run around with a direwolf or something.
Yeah, I think it is hard to do with like a Game of Thrones because then you're establishing new, like, I guess, lore and
right. Well, it could be
try to make it work in continuity wise. Lord of the Rings made a fun game, The Shadows of Mordor, and obviously you see it with like Spider-Man video games, but that's more of just comic to cartoon. Like it's so big that you can't like boil it down to a straight movie to video game.
Wolverine is always a common answer that people want, but
the Avengers game I heard was just terrible. And watching gameplay of that, like, I had no interest in that whatsoever.
Yeah, I was gonna say The Godfather, but that's also a game where you have to literally put the horse in the bed, and that's where a lot of people were introduced to The Godfather when they were younger.
What was that game? Mafia? Wasn't that a game?
Mafia, yeah. They even have the Yakuza game. But there's always...
The John Wick game would be actually pretty fucking sweet.
Right, yeah. Games like that. Or Bond, obviously, you had the famous GoldenEye game. And there have been others. I kind of miss that. I wish Daniel Craig got his own Bond game.
Well, there was like a portion of like when video games are really starting to be like... Everyone's got an Xbox 360 or PlayStation 2. Like, the need for every movie to have a video game adaptation.
Yeah, like the Shrek video game. Marissa used to love that game.
Remember the Burger King game?
That I don't remember.
They said Burger King used to have video games.
That's pretty funny.
So you're getting your Happy Meals.
Yeah, those were funny days where every kid's movie had to have a game with it that was just awful.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure like Fast and Furious had a video game.
Yeah, that would be another good one. This is definitely an answer that's going to hit me throughout the week, and I'm going to be like, oh, why didn't I say that? But
I really like the Harry Potter. There was a PS2 game, right?
I think so, yeah.
I used to play that when I was younger.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
You know, like you had to charm the three-headed dog.
Yeah.
We bought a zoo.
Yeah.
But it's just like
no, it's like
it's
a great game.
You just buy the zoo and you just gotta maintain it.
You gotta maintain the fucking zoo. It's not as easy as it looks. This question here from Harris. Last question. We'll end with the sports one. How would you fix All-Star Weekend?
You really can't. NFL tried to do it and it was just fucking terrible.
Well, the NFL one I sort of get. I think that was a long time coming of it's too dangerous for us to even risk it for a game where it doesn't matter, for an exhibition.
I think baseball and hockey did the best job of...
Baseball's easy because it's just... And you could play baseball 2 times a fucking day, you know?
But hockey went to 3-on-3 and made it divisional tournaments.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yo, 3-on-3 in the All-Star game would be kind of sick.
So maybe something like that, or maybe it's like 2-on-2, 3-on-3, and like you said, the teams are made out of people in your division. Or maybe even like take the 2 best players from every team, and that's your 2. And those are your All-Stars.
That could be fun. I'm even thinking of like divisional tournaments. What is there? 3 divisions, 6 divisions total in the NBA, right? And how many players make the All-Star game? I think it's 25. So even if you just took 5s from each division and did like a little bracket tournament, you know, based on who's got the best divisional record, they're the 1 seeds.
Because I feel like 2-on-2, 3-on-3, it's more personal. So you don't want to get cooked.
Right, yeah, even if you did it half court.
Yeah. I almost just had like the biggest old man take of all time. The allure of the All-Star game used to be like, oh, imagine if Michael and Magic played together, or Larry Bird. But now it's super teams.
That is an old man take, without a doubt.
It's a very old man take.
Well, we just fixed the All-Star game, or maybe we made it worse. All right, guys, that does it for the Nerd 2 podcast for today. Hope you enjoyed this episode.
There's nothing you can do.
Oh, the NFL, yeah. I don't even care at that point. Those players, they don't even have guaranteed contracts. They want them to go out there and hurt each other in an exhibition game. I wouldn't. No, fuck that. That one I totally understand. Well, if they ever do a podcasting all-star game, I don't even think we would make it. But if we did, we would podcast hard. We wouldn't take any of the possessions off.
No, it'll come hot takes.
Hot
just
takes,
nonstop.
yeah. Logical, rational, reasoned takes. And that's what we'll be doing on next week's episode. So hopefully you come on back, enjoy it, subscribe, like, share, do all that fun stuff. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Wow.
Such an old man take. Wow, that was probably our best review yet. Hey guys, Aaron the Nerd Soup Monkey here with a brief shameless plug before we end the video. Do you ever feel like you don't have an adequate amount of nerd soup in your life? Like you're going to bed hungry and yearning for the nonsensical yet entertaining nutrients our podcasts provide? Well, we've come up with the perfect solution. The Nerd Soup Fan Question Podcasts, exclusively available to our Patreon supporters. You can sign up now by visiting patreon.com/nerdsoup, and for the price of only $1 per month, you'll receive exclusive access to our weekly podcast, where we answer your questions that don't make it to the main show. And while you're there, you can check out the other rewards we offer to our patrons, like stickers, mugs, t-shirts, behind-the-scenes footage, and appearing in the credits at the end of our videos. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. Roll the names of the nerds who make Nerd Soup possible. The reason why the crypto crash didn't send our lives spiraling down a black hole of no return. Alright, I'll stop talking so you can listen to this jazzy-ass music while checking if Bo spelt your name wrong in the credits.